And now the worst situation about all what's going on is that like their minions represent, you know, the biggest loser in his grade in sexual terms, you know, probably like. And then he gets a top-notch position with me because it's been years. The minions around my topic can't be very sexual people by the Illuminati, you know, construct. Like when I first stayed here in 3, the guy that was, you know, staying, Joseph Staples, now is in Hardyville or something. He's like an old trucker. He doesn't like, he had a surgery here, so he never even showed me, honestly. I don't even check, but that's how they place me around energies that are non-congruent with my persona, so that I progressively stop even seeking, you know, sexual encounters in my you know, immediate surroundings. And these people, you know, now it's like teenage dirtbagism to me, you know. Like they'll be so happily justified when I don't say engage them sexually, and then one of the other girls do, or boys, you know, and then they'll use my money and take that boy to do whatever I ask that person to do. Like, can I please, like, I like have an emergency, I really need to do something urgent. Say buy tampons. They'll take the boy to buy tampons and he doesn't even have period, but just for them to feel good in that moment, they're employing spite and like very childish means, honestly. And I've also come to conclude now that when they're all done, like when they've terminated the power of like the American officials and they start to make fun of like some cops who came up to me, and then in that moment they had to say be with Mio, and then they didn't know how bad it was going to be, OnlyFans and all the Arabs making fun of them and stuff like that on my topic, to then hate me as if I intend that. But I was made fun of this way every day before I ever got to the United States. And I did efforts that are beyond human to even get here, with all of the dangers that we're surrounded by. They're even trying to come here under being owned by them anyway for their political structure and everything, you know, like all the politicians they casually blew up around my college or my schools while I was there, just to then pretend that I did that, because like some of these people would do it, say they would run away from lycée, like Amber and Dima and Henriette, like Harry, and, you know, Catherine, who was Kate. Like these kids were unruly. They would go do like the worst possible things, because in the end they had support from the French that supported Mel in murdering me unconditionally. And that country I was murdered in was colonized by the French. So I never had even the hope of justice. But now I don't know what to do, because all these French colony kids now are ruling United States, the Constitution, the Capitol. So I'm still going to now, you know, write some letters. You know, and everything I do is like curse. Like if I write a letter, send it to Forsyth for him to print, Nailo is gonna pretend he did that, or Kylo, or Amber, or Caron. Then by the time I get to the tent, they'll stage it in a way whereby Karen el-khazen, the real Dima tabrawi, would have called enough cops to pretend that he did all this and that I'm some illiterate, illegitimate person, you know, and it's always the same. So, like, to me now, it's doomed if I do, doomed if I don't. Whatever effort I do put into constitutionalism is stolen right away by the unconstitutional ones who, by law, you know, cannot comprehend the passion that would lead a person to take the steps towards naturalization that comes from the power of freedom. because they're all living in darkness. I don't care if you think they're lit because they're unborn, but they're living in extreme levels dark, underground, and their only sole force of motress power is around the topic of screwing me over, using my passion to the flag against me in a way to make fun of me, to pretend with their friends who also feel the same that it's totally useless for me to be this way if I'm not in an orgy with the Illuminati, you know, feeding off their liquids. But that's not the force that strives and drives freedom. There isn't a force by the Constitution that says that that being, if you eat out that being, then you're free. There isn't no such thing. That is called an urban legend. This is heresy.